Lisa, and welcome to Polymer Clay TV. Today I'm going to show you some of the new products and some of the fun things you can do with them. I love silk screening. You've probably seen me do it before on the show, and I usually use acrylic paint. Well, today I'm going to show you using chalks, because you can get a really unique look with the chalks that you can't get with paint. So I wanted to show you that. And we also got this really cool keyhole mold in the shop too, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And there's a trick to using it so that you can have the center be open and then you can dangle things from it, and you know, it looks like a real keyhole. That's the idea. But there's a trick for using these kind of molds, which I'm going to show you as well. So let me get started here by moving these away. I don't know how well you'll be able to see this on camera, but this is one I did on the Sunset Pearl clay, and you see how it's very faint? These are done with chalks, and obviously you need to use something that's really contrasting if you want to really see it. Or if you just want this to be like a subtle background that's beautiful, like more of a damask look, then you know, you can do it with a softer color. So let's start out here. I've got a couple colors already conditioned and rolled out. Here's silver, and I'm going to go with a dark color so that hopefully you can see it on camera. So you do it the same way you would with acrylic paint, and this is the Poppy. It's a brand new one. It's Poppy Garden, I believe is what it's called. Kira named it, so I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's Poppy Garden. And so you always want to make sure that the shiny side, which you should be able to see is a little shiny here, is face down on your clay. That's the secret right there. You have to have that done like that. So we're doing it the same way we would, like I said, with acrylic paint. You want to make sure there's no air pockets in between the clay and the silk screen. And I usually rub my hand over it, or I'll use a squeegee, or credit card, whatever it is you have that you want to use. And you can even use your rod too, to make sure that there's no air pockets. I just got some clay on there. So since this is silver, let's go. I think red would show up really nice on there. Now, I paid around $5 for this whole set at Michael's craft stores. So these are inexpensive chalks, so you don't need anything, you know, super high end. These will work just fine. And so I just start by rubbing it on there in like a circular motion. And you can change the colors up. That's the beauty of the chalk. You can do that with paint too, but you have a lot more control with the chalk. So I'm just going across here, and I'll do this whole section the same color so you can see. And then we'll change colors like midway. So I'm just rubbing on, giving it a nice saturation. If you have extra, you can certainly blow that off. You don't need all that extra hanging around, because it could get, you know, places where you don't want it. So that's the, like a coral color. And let's use something else that would be contrasting. Let's do this dark purple and see how that looks. And so then I would pick up over here and just do the same thing. You want to make sure that it gets into the holes that are in the silk screen. So that's what we're going for here. And that looks good right there. And you know, I have extra, but I'm using the whole side of it, and I am going to blow it away. That's probably not the best thing to do, but so anyways, now we're just going to peel back real slow, just like we would with the paint, and reveal our design. How beautiful is that? I love it. I love it, love it, love it. So now the difference with the chalk is it'll wash off real easy in the faucet. And you don't have to rush and get it under the faucet to wash it like you would with the acrylic paint that can dry on there. This isn't going to dry on there. You still want to wash it right away. You don't want to leave this on your silk screen. But now you see it's much more of a subtle look than if I was using acrylic paint. And so there are different times you're not going to want that vibrant acrylic paint look, you know, where it's bright and whatever, and you want it more of a subtle look. This is, by using these pastels, you can get that beautiful subtle look with it. And I absolutely just love the look of it. And I think you will too. So that's that one. Let's try another one. This is just a blue clay. And these are the Circle Party, which I love this one too. Let's see. Let's go. Right, again, the shiny side face down. I'm just trying to find an area I want to. Let's go over here. That'll be pretty right there. Same thing. Make sure no air pockets. And so if we're going to do blue, what would be, you know, a bright pink would probably look really nice. So you can use this end of the chalk too, but I find it much easier to use the side. So again, just in a circular motion. And you can come over here and do it too. You don't have to just all make sure to do it in the one area. That's the beauty of working with the chalks, is that you can mix it up. Okay, so there's a pink. Let's go with a green. Or like a teal. That would be pretty. Ooh, or mint too. So let's do a couple. Here's the mint. And then I come over here. You just got to make sure that you cover the whole silk screen, obviously. And you could touch it a little with your fingers, you know, kind of blend it out a little. Now let's use this color. This color, I don't know how well it'll show up, this green, because it's close to the blue, but we'll do a little of it. And so the thing is, you just want to just experiment. Really, that's what makes it so fun. Let me just add one more color here. I don't know if it'll show up, but a little purple in there. And you're making just a fun mess. So anyways, let's peel this back and see what we got. Yeah, see, the green doesn't show up as good obviously on the blue, but you know what? I've done this many times. If I haven't pulled it, you know, pulled it completely off, I can go back usually and add more color. So let's try that. Because, you know, that obviously that green is too light for this blue color. Okay, let's try that now. There we go. You can see it a little better now. But if you miss some, yeah, it's very hard to see on the blue, but you can see it better on the silver, because the colors are so much lighter. But you can see it over here and here. I think you can see it on camera there. Let me show you closer. So, you know, depending on the color of your clay, you have to use contrasting chalks. Because as it is, you're already going to get like a light version of it. You know, you're not getting like the bold colors. So, I mean, it really just depends on what you want to do and what your project is, you know. You may want just a really, really subtle background that doesn't have a whole lot of color, then you would use something that wasn't so contrasting. But if you really want to see it and have it pop, you need to use something that's contrasting. And I think that any of the chalks would pretty much look good on a white background. So you can always start there to kind of start experimenting and stuff if you want to. So that's them. Here's the other one. Love it, love it, love it. Let me show you next the Keyhole Molds. Okay, so I have some of the Spanish Olive Primo clay. I always, most of the time, use Primo just because it's my favorite. I really like it. And by the way, you would bake this once you make whatever you're going to make with the same temperature you would as recommended on the back of the package of brand of clay you use. So there's no difference in baking with if you're using acrylic paint or if you're using the chalks. You would still bake it the same exact way, so you don't have to worry about anything changing with that. So anyways, this mold has the keyholes, as you can see. Now, to make your life easier, I find, or to make my life easier, I should say, I like best creating a snake to fill these kind of molds. And so I condition my clay really well. You don't want your clay to be cracking when you're when you're molding, because that you're going to have problems. And so I just roll a snake, and I kind of figure the size I'm going to need to fit in there. And I'm actually going to go around that keyhole. Now, when I fill in with the clay, it'll probably cover it a little, but by starting this way, you've kind of like create that start of the hole. And you'll see if any of the clay goes over it, it's not a big deal, because when you cut off the extra, which is how I do it, it'll all work out. And you'll have that opening exactly where it needs to be. So I like to make sure it's nice deep down in that. I use my rod, I use my fingers, and then I'm going to cut off any extra. And I just run my blade across. And you can do it in little bits and increments so that you don't cut the mold. Whatever works for you. You turn the mold around. Or if you can get the right amount of clay in from the beginning, that's great. Me, I don't try to get the exact amount of clay in, because I know I can come back and cut it out, and that works for me. But whatever works for you, do. But this is a little tip. By using the snake method of molding, it really makes your life easy when you have one of these kinds of molds. And so there I have it. It's molded. Let me just tear off a piece of this so that I can easily demold it. And I like, when I demold, I like to put my piece flat down, give it a little pressure, and peel back. And there you have it. And simple, simple, simple. It's only a matter of just running a snake around there and then making sure that it gets into the mold. Really simple to do. And here's the other two that I did. Let's do one more so you can see. So just make sure, I think the biggest thing is to make sure that your clay is conditioned well. Because if it's not, you're going to have problems. I'll be honest with you. If you don't condition your clay well and you try to mold a mold, it's just going to crack on you, and it's going to make your life harder. And we do not want our lives to be harder, so let's not do it that way. So let me show you. Okay, I'm going to show you this one here. Now this one has a lot more little ins and outs of it, so let me show you how I molded that. Again, with the snake. But I'm going smaller this time because the little areas are smaller. And so I just kind of wiggle it back and forth until I fill up the cavities, like so. And that seems to work best for me, so that I know that I get all those grooves filled in with the clay. But I'm still going around the center where the keyhole is going to be, so that, you know, I still have that open area. It's not fully covered, you see. And so again, I would come back with my rod, continue to push in there nicely so I know that I get it in all those little grooves. When you're pushing into the clay and it's not going anywhere, then chances are it's filled up all those grooves, which is what you're wanting. And then again, I'm going to come back and give it a little shave. I actually enjoy giving it a shave. I don't enjoy shaving my legs and arms, but I enjoy shaving clay. Go figure, right? So this one's got these few little extra openings there, as you can see right here. So you want to make sure that those are cleared off too. And you can do that with your finger and use your fingers to help move the clay around. You do not want to demold or remove it from the mold until you make sure that you have it exactly the way you want it. Okay, so the best way to make sure that you have a successful mold is to make sure that everything is cleaned up in your mold. That is number one biggest tip. Make sure that you clean it completely up while it's still in the mold. Okay, so as you can see, I continue to push around, make sure there's not any low spots, because if it's, say there's not there's not enough clay over here, tear off a little piece and put it in there. And just make sure that it melds together. That's the secret there. So let me move this, and we'll demold this one. So I press it, and I pull up while I'm holding it down. And this one's a little trickier because it's got the two holes, and then you want to gently coax it out of the mold as you go. You may need to pick it up and do it to the other side. And there you have it. You just push it down, and there it goes back into shape, like so. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love this mold. It is pretty easy to work with. When I first saw it, I was like, I don't know. Is that going to be hard to unmold or whatever? But it's really easy. It's a nice thick rubber. Not rubber, excuse me, a nice thick silicone so that it flexes but yet it's sturdy enough to hold the design and easy to mold. So super fun. Those are some new products we have in our shop. You can check it out at polymerclaytv.com and just click on the button that says shop. We have these new silk screens. There's, I believe, 3 different designs that we have that are new in the shop you can check out. And this is called Unlock the Secrets Keyhole Mold. So I hope you had fun, and I hope you pull out your chalks and pastels and just explore this technique with the silk screening and have fun with it. So I'll see you next time, and don't forget we have polymerclayadventure.com, which is the year-long polymer clay retreat going on right now. We also have an art jewelry one and a quilting one. If you like doing either of those things, check them out. You can check, there's links on polymerclayadventure.com where you can find out more about that. So thanks so much for joining us, and I will see you next time.